In this video, we'll create 4 exterior elevations and use a few tools to ensure they have consistent view properties. In order to start my exterior elevations, I need to start on the site plan. Notice I have a set of markers here. These are our elevation view markers. If I click on the triangle, I'll notice a blue plane has appeared. This plane defines our elevation view. I can click the plane and drag it as close to the house as I can get without overlapping any elements. I'll work around the building and make sure all of my view planes are in the correct spot. The next thing I need to do to create my exterior elevations is create a scope box. I can go to the View tab and find Scope Box. In my site plan, I'll click and drag. So my scope box encompasses my house, but not my garage. I can use the grips to adjust that scope box as close to the house as possible without overlapping any elements. This scope box will allow us to define the view of all 4 exterior elevations. If I open my 3D view, you'll notice that scope box is a 3D element. We want to make sure this scope box incorporates all of our house, including in the vertical direction. I'll adjust the grips until they incorporate the overall house. Notice in my property palette with the scope box selected, there's a name option. I'll rename this to House Only and hit apply. That way I know this is the box I want to reuse for any view that only includes the house, not the garage. With my scope box created and my elevation view planes adjusted, I'm ready to open up an elevation view. I'll find that in the project browser and start with the south elevation. From here, there's a few view properties I'd like to set. The first things I'd like to do in this view are change my view scale and set the detail level to medium. I can type VG for Visibility Graphics Override. I could also go to the Properties panel and find the Edit button. In this menu, I'll make a few changes. I'll change Topo Solids only to have a coarse view. Keep your eye on the pattern that shows up for the earth. I'll hit apply. Notice I get a single layer of material now. I'd like to hide that earth pattern. Under the cut pattern column of Topo Solid, I'll click the box to override and choose not visible and hit OK. If I apply the changes, notice we just get the dark line representing the Topo Solid. For doors, I can make a similar change. In order to see the trim around the doors, I need to have the detail level be fine. I'll hit apply. There's lots of other options you have when it comes to graphic displays. In the property panel, I can find my graphic display options. The hotkey for that is GD. Notice here I have my model style set to hidden lines. I can set a silhouette line weight. I'll choose wide. I also have some options to cast shadows or create depth cueing. Depth cueing will adjust the elements further from the view plane to be a lighter color, giving an indication of depth. Feel free to mess around with the settings. Under lighting, I also have the ability to control the strength of my shadows. I prefer them to be a bit lighter so as to not distract from the information. Feel free to experiment with shadows, depth cueing, and lighting. When I'm happy with my south elevation view, I'll go to the View tab and find View Templates. I can create a template from my current view. I'll set a name for the template and hit OK. Notice I have options to continue to adjust my visibility graphic overrides, my shadows, my depth cueing, as well as lighting, and many other things. For now, we'll keep it simple and just hit OK. Now that I've created my view template and my scope box, I can apply those things to all 4 exterior elevations at once. In the project browser, I'll select all 4 elevations and choose Scope Box from the Properties palette. I'll choose my house only and apply. My crop region has been adjusted for not just my south elevation, but all of the other elevations as well. I can also set that view template. I'll hit the Edit button next to View Template and choose my view template defined. I'll hit OK. So you can see what happened. I'll open up all my other views and type WT to tile the windows and ZA to zoom all. One thing to note about both scope boxes and view templates. Now that I have them applied, to make any adjustments, I actually need to adjust either the view template or the scope box. You can adjust the scope box by going to 3D and changing the size. You can adjust the view template by clicking on any view and opening the view template. From here, your Visibility Graphics override menu is still accessible. In this video, we created our exterior elevations. We first went to the site plan and adjusted the view planes. We then created a scope box and a view template so that all 4 elevations will share a set of consistent graphic standards. I hope this helps.